Hello, this is Jay with the Lumen Reiki Academy. Today I want to speak to you something about that many people experience, but they do not always know how to put it into words. Sometimes a person feels quietly drawn to Reiki. They may not understand why. They may not know much about Reiki. They may not even be sure whether they are meant to take a class, and yet something in them keeps returning to it. If that has been your experience, just know you're not alone. Very often, people do not find Reiki in a purely logical way. Usually they don't. They find it during a time of deep healing, transitioning, awakening, emotional change, or deep inner questioning. Sometimes Reiki appears when life has become just too noisy, too heavy, and too disconnected. And sometimes something inside begins to longing for peace, clarity, and a more meaningful way of being. Sometimes the pull towards Reiki is very gentle. It may feel like some curiosity. It may feel like comfort. Some people experience it as a quiet inner knowing that there is something here for you, even if you can't explain it yet. And I think it's important to say that this kind of experience is very real and common. Being drawn to Reiki is not something you need to dismiss just because you cannot explain it right away. Sometimes that good old heart recognizes what the mind has not yet caught up with. And sometimes your deeper self is already responding to something meaningful before your thoughts can organize it into certainty. For some people, the pull toward Reiki is connected to their own healing. They may be tired of carrying stress, grief, overwhelm, or emotional pain in the same way that they always have. They may be longing for that gentler path. They may be wanting to reconnect with themselves to feel more centered, more peaceful, and more supported in their own life. For others, the pull may also include a sense of calling. They may find themselves wondering whether they are meant to help others, whether they're meant to learn a healing practice, whether there is something in them that is ready to grow, to awaken, or be in service in a meaningful way. And sometimes it is both. And I want you to know that being drawn to Reiki does not mean you need to have your whole future figured out right now. It does not mean you need to immediately see yourself as some professional practitioner. And it does not mean you need to have all the answers. I certainly didn't. And it does not mean that you need to have be a certain kind of person in order to begin. And you don't need to be special in some dramatic way. You do not need to be perfect. And you do not need to feel confident or to be spiritual enough. So very often, the Reiki path begins much more simply than people expect. Sometimes it's the simplicity that confuses people. But we begin with just the noticing. It begins with just a little bit of curiosity. And it begins with us allowing ourselves to honor what we are feeling. If Reiki keeps coming back into your awareness, it may be worth just sitting quietly with what you're experiencing and asking yourself a few simple questions. So what is it that I'm truly longing for right now? Am I seeking peace, a certain healing, clarity, or a deeper connection with myself? Does this seem like some simple interest, or does it feel like something in me is being invited forward? Those questions can open a door for you. And sometimes this is how the path begins. Not with force, not with pressure, but with honesty and with reflection. With a willingness to listen to what your own heart may already know. If you have been quietly wondering whether Reiki may be a calling for you, I created a free guide called Are You Meant to Be a Reiki Practitioner? It is meant to help you reflect more deeply on that question and gently explore whether Reiki training may be your next right step. You can download it through the link below. And wherever you are in your journey right now, I want to encourage you to trust that you do not have to force your path. Sometimes the next step begins by simply listening to what is already calling you. I greatly appreciate the time you taken to watch this video today, and just know I'm sending you an abundance of peace, love, and happiness through Reiki, and I hope to see you again soon.